Have you ever felt?
Are you listening?
Breakthrough Media.
Masters at the art of deception and projection, notice how they spin everything to fit their agenda. The government shutdown was not about the wall. It was about America's sovereignty as a country. The wall, quote unquote, is a component of the solution package to undergird legal immigration. There are millions of legal immigrants of every background who are opposed to illegal immigration. These three don't fail to see this. They refuse to. They abandoned their responsibility in the shutdown while Trump owned his. These three represent the erosion of American democracy and the subversion of our most basic governmental norms. They represent the beginning here of what Europe has now become. I'm telling you, they're implementing the plan to destroy America from within. That's why the lamestream media never reported the truth about what has gone on over there. If you don't research it for yourself, you're left to trust the bought and paid for lamestream media.
I yield to the gentlewoman from Bronx, New York, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today I rise to tell the story of one of my constituents, Yahi Obed. Mr. Obed was born in Yemen and came to the United States when he was 8 years old. His childhood dream was to become a pilot, and he knew and felt that in the United States all things are possible, and his dream could come true. Mr. Obed's dream did come true. He's been a federal employee for 14 years, has 2 children, and a mortgage for his home in the Morris Park neighborhood of the Bronx. He studied hard, got his pilot's license, and is now an air traffic controller supervisor at John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York City. I spoke with Mr. Obed today over the phone. He and air traffic controllers like him across the country missed their first paycheck this past week. He was telling me about how stressful his job is. Every single day, air traffic controllers have thousands of people's lives in their hands. With weather changes, flight delays, staffing complexities, and a myriad of other issues, their days almost never go exactly to plan. His job is to find solutions, analyze and adapt in real time to keep people safe in one of the busiest airspaces in the United States and the world. And it is terrifying to think that almost every single air traffic controller in the United States is currently distracted at work because they don't know when their next paycheck is coming. Federal workers' jobs are stressful enough. The rise in New York City's cost of living is stressful enough. The fact that Mr. Obed's family cannot be reunified due to fears over the Muslim ban is stressful enough. His several $1,000s a month Bronx mortgage is stressful enough. The anti-immigrant sentiment of this administration is stressful enough. And the truth of this shutdown is that it's actually not about a wall. It is not about the border, and it is certainly not about the well-being of everyday Americans. The truth is, this shutdown is about the erosion of American democracy and the subversion of our most basic governmental norms. It is not normal to hold 800,000 workers' paychecks hostage. It is not normal to shut down the government when we don't get what we want. It is not normal for public servants to run away and hide from the public that they serve. And it is certainly not normal to starve the people we serve for a proposal that is wildly unpopular among the American people. Each and every member of this body has a responsibility to this nation and to everyone in the United States of America, whether they voted for us or not. And this president shares in that responsibility as well, which means he has a responsibility to my constituent, Mr. Obed. President Trump has a responsibility to all air traffic controllers, FDA inspectors, TSA workers, and he has a responsibility to maintain the basic functioning of the United States government. Thank you very much. Madam Speaker, I yield my time.
Oh my God, this just keeps getting worse.
Don't be fooled. We are the ones speaking truth to power. Who censors our voices from media and social media? The left owns the media and academia. Look at our universities. They have the nerve to point out how poorly we are doing on the world stage, while they turn out emotionally driven, American-hating folks that are not ready for the real world. They want free college. Well, take the money that Saudi Arabia pours into our universities. Use it for that. While you yell about how woke you are, I will still be here, telling the truth.
The erosion of American democracy.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet. Already, you have members of your cabinet that are being booed out of restaurants, who have protesters taking up at their house, who's saying no peace, no sleep. No peace, no sleep. Let's stay the course. Let's make sure we show up wherever we have to show up. And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
The erosion of American democracy.
And when your son looks at you and says, Mama, look, you won, bullies don't win. And I said, baby, they don't, because we're going to go in there, we're going to impeach them.
The erosion of American democracy.
Come here.
Take it off. Hey, leave my hand. Rip it off. Rip it off. We can rip it off. Okay, chill. Rip it off. Chill. Don't get him. Don't get him. I don't care. You'll rip it off. I can burn it. Which one you want? Which one you want? Speak. Make it look what's back. I'm gonna rip it, bro. Which one you want? Let me take it off. Take this shit off. Take this shit off. Take this shit off.
The erosion of American democracy. The erosion of American democracy.
See this right here? This is the problem. Ignorant people like this. I'm just trying to sit here and eat a nice meal. Look at it. Yeah, you see this? You see this? People like that. That's the problem. It's the problem with America these days. People are just ignorant. They want to lash out on people who are educated. Rosie's not doing too hot right now. I don't know what happened. She just tried to grab my hand in front of 4 officers. Not smart. There she is, getting cuffed. Have a nice night in the cell, Rosie.
The erosion of American democracy.
Instance in itself could be considered a minor issue. She just grabbed my dick. Is that sexual assault? Is that sexual assault?
Yes.
So you just sexually assaulted me.
I did assault
So
you.
you be arrested?
Arrest me.
I'm not gonna arrest you.
There are police officers right here. But
So look at this. Women have so much privilege. She can sexually assault me and get away with it.
The erosion of American democracy.
What the hell is you see of crackers with Make America Great hat on?
A video showing a confrontation between the high school students, including junior Nick Sandman, and an Omaha elder Nathan Phillips went viral and sparked outrage.
The erosion of American democracy. The erosion of American democracy. The erosion of American democracy.
First of all, it was like a male feminist came and stomped on my hand. I was trying to get your hat because you threw your hat.
You took my hat
That
right
was-
off. Oh my! Hey!
The erosion of American democracy.
For the president. Shit,
The erosion of American democracy.
The grader attacked on his school bus for wearing a Make America Great Again hat.
You want to build a wall?
Irony failed logic. Their parents and the lamestream media have piped this foolishness into them, and they can't see it. They don't want a wall, but they have no problem trying to control and imprison others with invisible walls of identity politics groupthink. Remember, masters of projection and deception. They're good at it. Antifa equals anti-fascist, but they exhibit fascist behavior. Lastly, you must fully agree with them in order to have free speech. Sounds like fascism to me. Shameful. Will the real Nazis please stand up? P.S. They don't care about their children assaulting yours, but you better not do it to their children. Hypocrisy on steroids. #walk away.
And the video shows classmates shoving the 12-year-old St. Louis boy while yelling at him for supporting the president.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening?
This is a hat where it says, "Make America Great Again." They now call it the MAGA hat. This is a Ku Klux Klan hood. They used to terrorize freed African Americans in those. Different shapes, eras, purposes. However,
This Make America Great Again hat is just as maddening and frustrating and triggering for me to look at as a KKK hood.
The erosion of American democracy.
many people have called Donald Trump a filthy racist in the past. What's up with this new wave of hat hate now? Even though something that's now compared to the KKK's fashion has been worn by African Americans or the LGBTQ community, well, just remember that white teenagers versus Native American vet situation.
The viral video sweeping the internet of a mob of MAGA hat-wearing high school students surrounding a Native American chanting and drumming in the nation's capital.
It is disturbing.
Students mocking a Native American man.
Some of them harassing and jeering at a Native American elder.
So much in the story was twisted, as we learned from videos that emerged later. As you can see, the teen, dubbed as a shameless bully, was just standing still and smiling at the man with the drum who'd come up to him. But that's not important because the student was wearing a MAGA hat.
The erosion of American democracy.
People have judged me based off one expression, and they've gone from there to titling me and labeling me as a racist person.
Do you think if you weren't wearing that hat, this might not have happened, or it might have been different?
That's possible.
Oh, the hat does mean so much. And again, don't forget that from now on, in the minds of so many people, people whose voices matter.
The red MAGA hat is the new white hood. Without white boys being able to empathize with other people, humanity will continue to destroy itself.
And so it's probably only natural that Americans wearing MAGAs have gotten themselves in trouble.
Supporting the president. You ain't supporting shit.
Get out! Help your customer!
I've just been asked to leave the store.
Who hated people like you? Who wanted to kill people like you?
So, who knows how far that kind of bullying may get soon? Some in the media have tried very hard to make you associate Mr. Trump with the KKK. Now, with this hat situation, it must have become a much easier job.
And the subversion of our most basic governmental norms.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening?
I recently watched a group of protesters, most of them young, denouncing President Donald Trump's immigration policies. They were waving Mexican flags and shouting, "Sí se puede!" Yes, we can. This is now the rallying cry of the open borders left, but it wasn't always. In fact, I wondered if a single person at the protest knew where it came from. The slogan first became famous 50 years ago, thanks to Cesar Chavez. He was the founder of the United Farm Workers Union. When Chavez said, "Sí se puede," he meant something very different. Yes, we can seal the borders. Cesar Chavez hated illegal immigration. He was Hispanic, obviously, and definitely on the left, but he fought to keep illegal Mexican immigrants out of this country. He understood that peasants from Latin America will always work for less than Americans will. That's why employers prefer them. Chavez knew that. As long as we have a poor country bordering California, he once explained, it's going to be very difficult to win strikes. In 1969, Chavez led a march down the center of California to protest the hiring of illegal immigrant produce pickers. Marching alongside him was Democratic Senator Walter Mondale and the Reverend Ralph Abernathy, the longtime aide to Martin Luther King. 10 years later, Chavez dispatched armed union members into the desert to assault Mexican nationals who were trying to sneak across the border. Chavez's men beat immigrants with chains and whips made of barbed wire. Illegal aliens who dared to work as scabs had their houses firebombed and their cars burned. Chavez wasn't embarrassed about any of this. He bragged about it. No matter. Chavez remains a progressive hero. President Obama declared his birthday a commemorative federal holiday. It's an official day off in a half a dozen states. There's a college named after him and dozens of public schools. Cesar Chavez's life is a reminder of how much the left has changed and how quickly. Until recently, most Democrats agreed with Chavez. They opposed unchecked immigration because they knew it hurt American workers, and they were right. One study by a Harvard economist examined the effects of the mass migration of Cuban refugees to this country in 1980, the so-called Mariel boat lift. He found that American workers in Miami with a high school education saw their wages fall by more than 30% after the refugees arrived. If you believe in supply and demand, this is not surprising. After the fall of Saigon in 1975, Democratic Governor Jerry Brown opposed letting Vietnamese refugees into California on the grounds that the state already had enough poor people. As he put it at the time, there's something a little strange about saying, let's bring in 500,000 more people when we can't take care of the 1 million Californians out of work. First-term Senator Joe Biden of Delaware agreed. He introduced federal legislation to curb the arrival of the Vietnamese. 2 decades later, leading Democrats were still wary of mass immigration, especially illegal immigration. As Bill Clinton put it in the 1995 State of the Union address, Americans are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public services they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. No prominent Democrat would say anything like that today without being denounced as a racist. Clinton got a standing ovation. As late as 2006, there were still liberals who cared about the economic effects of immigration, legal or illegal. Immigration reduces the wages of domestic workers who compete with immigrants, explained economist Paul Krugman in the New York Times. We'll need to reduce the inflow of low-skilled immigrants. Mainly that means better controls on illegal immigration. That same year, Senator Hillary Clinton voted for a fence on the Mexican border. So did Barack Obama and Chuck Schumer and 23 other Senate Democrats. Not anymore. 20 years after Bill Clinton told Americans they had the right to be upset about illegal immigration, his wife scolded the country for enforcing border controls. So what changed? Not the economics of it. The law of supply and demand remained in effect. It's not a coincidence that as illegal immigration surged, wages for American workers stagnated. What changed is that Democrats stopped caring about those workers, about the middle class, really. Why? Here's the answer in 4 simple facts. 1. According to a recent study from Yale, there are at least 22 million illegal immigrants living in the United States. 2. Democrats plan to give all of them citizenship. Read the Democrats' 2016 party platform. 3. Studies show the overwhelming majority of first-time immigrant voters vote Democrat. 4. The biggest landslide in American presidential history was only 17 million votes. Do the math. The payoff for Democrats? Permanent electoral majority for the foreseeable future. In a word, power. That's the point, no matter what they tell you. American workers be damned. I'm Tucker Carlson.
Thank you for watching this video.
To help keep PragerU videos free, please consider making a tax-deductible donation.
Are you listening?